This is Julia Ling, and you're listening to Tech Versus the Podcast.
Hi, my name is Graham Jones, but you can call me Gray. This is my show. It's about Chuck. It's filled with interviews, the latest news, crazy co-hosts, and spoilers that'll make your day. Oh, wait, I need to go back. I host these TV nights. They used to be pretty boring, but everything changed when I found NBC's new show, Chuck. Pretty soon, my TV night got pretty crowded. Guys I didn't even know were showing up the door. Big, important guys. Really scary, nasty, get killed for hosting them guys. Next thing I know, these super episodes are downloaded into my brain, which means every moment of my life, I'm thinking about Chuck. ChuckTV.net sent their top people to protect me. That's Mel and Liz. They're pretty zany. They co-host with me now as a cover. So now I must welcome you to Chuck versus the Podcast, the first and only podcast for NBC's Chuck. This is Gray.
This is Mel.
And Liz.
And you're listening to Chuck versus the Podcast, episode 11 for the first week of November 2008. We have something incredibly exciting for you this week. Mel had an interview with none other than Julia Ling, who plays Anna on Chuck. We're going to roll right into that interview. Enjoy.
This is Mel with Chuck versus the Podcast and ChuckTV.net, and today I am here with our very own nerd herd goddess, Julia Ling, who plays Anna Wu on Chuck. How are you today?
Wow, goddess. Thank you. I'm good. Awesome.
Good. Well, we were looking through your bio to kind of come up with some questions to ask you, and girl, you're making us look bad.
You're so good for my ego. We just started like 2 seconds and you've already showered me with compliments.
Well, for the listeners who don't know, by the age of 6, you had artwork featured in magazines, festivals, and newspapers, including a front page spread.
Yeah, that's right. Well, when I was growing up, I just really loved drawing, and it was kind of a way for me to, I had actually kind of a tough childhood growing up, so it was actually a great way for me to just, relax and really enjoy some good happiness and peace time.
Well, that's cool. It's wonderful that you were able to find an outlet like that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was great. Yeah, I actually had a really tough childhood growing up. I mean, my parents, they were slaves in Cambodia, and my grandparents, from what I know, I could be totally wrong, but my grandparents, I think they fled China because there was a revolution going on, and the Japanese had gone in and they were just brutally murdering people left and right, and I think my grandparents ran to the wrong country to escape, and there was a civil war going on there. So it was a really tough childhood because my parents lost their entire families, and then they were sponsored by the First Baptist Church here of America, and they were rescued, and that's where I was born, was in America. So in growing up, we really didn't have a lot of stuff. We grew up like in the streets, and they worked 365 days a year, and they were never really there and all that, and it kind of forced me to learn to grow up and learn to be a good person, and to kind of keep that love, and passion for learning and improving, so someday in the future, I just felt that someday things would be a lot better.
Well, it looks like you've really made the most of what little you had. You also won the Best Storyteller Award by the Chinese World newspaper.
Yeah, that was a lot of fun. I told the story of the Lion and the Mouse, and it was all in Chinese, and I was 6 years old.
So are you still fluent in Chinese?
Yeah, but I'm just kind of slowly forgetting it. Living here in America.
Yeah, maybe not as much opportunity to use it anymore.
Yeah, we do. I mean, I still talk to my parents, but I used to go to Chinese school, and my friends teased me that I was what they call the fob, fresh off the boat, even though I was born in America. But yeah, it's because I would go to all those Chinese stores and buy little toys like Marshmallow and Hello Kitties, and just really listen to Chinese music. And coming to Hollywood has really changed that. Everyone around me is just all English speaking.
Mm-hmm. In high school, I read that you were president of your student body, plus involved in several clubs, and graduated with a 4.0 and perfect SAT scores.
Yeah, I was a nerd.
Yeah, I was somewhat something like that too, so.
You were?
Yeah, well, I was valedictorian and yeah, I had pretty good test scores. Not perfect, but pretty good. So,
That's
yeah,
awesome.
yeah, it's cool. Nerds are cool.
Nerds are cool. We rule the world. I mean, at least in the Chuck world, we'd like to think that.
I was going to say it's perfect background for the job you have now.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, except the fact that she wears like a ton of makeup, which is not like me. So, I don't like keeping makeup on my skin. I can't stand like the cakey feeling.
Hmm.
But being a painter and like an artist, I definitely love putting makeup on. But the nerd side, definitely, yeah. I play games. I do everything nerdy.
I read, speaking of nerdy, you were also vice president of the Engineering Society at UCLA, and you were taking biomedical chemical engineering.
Yeah, I was all over the place.
Oh my gosh.
It's kind of, yeah, I am all over the place. The thing is, I loved everything growing up. I just love learning, and it's like every new question I just had to find the answer. And there was a part of me that really wanted to make a difference in the community, and so I joined a peer counseling club in high school. I had some clients, who had difficulties, like the first time they discovered that they were homosexual or that they had AIDS or whatever it was, and depression, suicidal, and I remember the kind of rewarding feeling I had just being able to help these people get out of that kind of depression. And so in my life, I always thought, I want to be a doctor. I want to be a nurse or a neurosurgeon or something. And so I went to UCLA, and they didn't have a pre-med program. So I ended up just joining the chemical engineering group. I majored in that because I read that it satisfied all the prereqs for med school, and at the same time I felt like, at least I could also understand what I was learning rather than just memorizing, biology terms and stuff. I could actually understand it. In the process of learning all that, I don't know what happened. I just fell in love with acting and decided to go to Hollywood. One morning I'm like, Mom, I love chemical engineering, but I'm going to Hollywood.
And how did they take that?
They weren't really, they were really shocked, but I have very great parents and they were really supportive.
Well, that's good. It is quite a change. How far were you into college before you made that decision? How many years had you been there?
It was 3.5 years, so I was pretty close to.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
How many credits shy are you?
I don't know exactly, but, it would have been like another year and a half.
Okay.
And it was a really tough decision. I was like, should I finish college or should I not? And ultimately, I just decided, I had this dream, and my college degree is it's not going to do anything for my dream. So, yeah, so I left.
So you then went to Hollywood, and very quickly, I think you made your network TV debut on another of my favorite series, Buffy the Vampire Slayer.
Yeah, it was really hard actually leaving because not having family or friends to talk to. I didn't even know what rolling meant. I had no idea how to get started, how to get in, and the only thing that was keeping me going was this passion, this love for performing. And so I just went to the local bookstore. I picked up like tons of books, and I found some schools, and I studied. I worked really hard, like 4 to 5 hours every day. And I guess throughout this journey, I was fortunate enough to meet all the right people, and they just kind of guided me through the process, and I was lucky enough to book Buffy, and that was kind of what started it all.
And from there, you did guest starring and often recurring roles, like on ER, Grey's, House, Studio 60 on the Sunset Strip.
Yeah, I just kind of hit all the hospitals.
Yeah. That's true. You do have a lot of...
No, I'm missing Nip Tuck, so...
Oh. You think that's because you were able to convincingly spout the medical jargon?
I actually was really embarrassed because when I read for ER, I had no idea what I was saying, and so I actually called up a doctor. I was just asking him, like, what is my character saying?
Well, that's pretty exciting. And from there, I also see that you've done over 20 independent short films.
Yeah, I mean, when I did the films, I just did it mainly because I knew there was a lot more that went into acting than just acting as your character. There's the lights to work with and the camera and how to hit your marks, how to pace your lines so that the editors don't hit you.
Right.
There's vocal training for the microphones and different kinds of shots to pay attention to. And there's just so much that went in, and I didn't want to really screw up when, I did the big stuff, so I wanted the training, and I actually had a lot of fun. I met a lot of great people in the independent world.
It sounds like you really approached this methodically, much like you did a lot of the other things that you've done in your life, research and study and...
Oh, yeah. I mean, I met someone once, and he just kind of nailed it on. I think it's part of the discipline that we had growing up in my culture. And I wouldn't even say my culture. I think it's pretty much all cultures, the people who are really focused and really want something to happen. They just really go after it. You're not really afraid to lose, because you know that if you fall, it's just a learning experience. You just get back up, and if you have questions, the world has answers. You just have to go out there. It's not easy, but you just gotta get out there and learn. Yeah.
Well, I see that you have a couple of films in production. Are you looking at features as your future, or are you wanting to mix?
Well, I definitely want to learn to continue my martial arts and my dance, and training that, because that's something I love. And I definitely love filmmaking. I mean, as a kid, I always wanted to write stories, and my second grade teacher was really upset that I'm not pursuing novelist writing, because I used to write. She would say, like, okay, let's write like a one-page story, and I turned in like 30 pages, and I was like in second grade. But I would digress a lot, and she's like, you have this horribly active imagination. You need to learn to tone your stories down. But I would love to continue storytelling, both in front of and behind the camera, if that's something that suits me. And I'm actually going to be working on a movie called High School, and that one should be coming out in 2010. So I'm really excited about that.
That is exciting. And are you producing on that one as well?
No. So I was actually fortunate enough to be an actress on it. So
it's cool.
It's exciting. Yeah, definitely cool. We're going to go shoot in Michigan and stuff, so it's going to be awesome.
Oh, have you ever been to that part of the country?
No, actually, I am so deprived of snow, and so I'm really excited. I was born and raised in Southern California, and I think I maybe saw snow like twice in my life.
Well, that should be a fun experience.
Yeah.
Well, you were talking about martial arts, and something that some of the forum members on ChuckTV.net were wondering when I said, hey, guess what, we're going to have the chance to talk with Julia Ling. First, they were like, oh, excellent. And I said, well, what questions do you have? And several of them said they would like to know more about your martial arts training. And they had read that you had trained with Jackie Chan or at his school. Could you explain a little more about that?
Yeah, that was actually they called it the Jackie Chan Disciples. And it was last year when Jackie Chan launched an international search to find 10 disciples to star in his next feature films. But, I just kind of, I participated because I just kind of wanted to explore and see what I can really do with martial arts. I mean, I can't call myself a martial artist. Even till this day, I'm no martial artist. I'm a dancer. But when I participated in the program, I met this coach, Woody Wong, from Wushu Star, who just kind of trained me in Wushu and the staff and sword. And we created this backstory, so it wasn't just pure martial arts. It was actually a story behind it. And in doing so, and during that process, I learned so much. I mean, I learned that martial arts is not about brute strength, and it's about becoming bigger on the inside than on the outside. And it's about becoming a better person. And it's about the inner beauty and the peace and knowing what you want, and not bringing negativity to other people. And it's about a lot of things. And during that, I really learned how to. I trained really hard. Mm-hmm. My coach he was really hard on me. We would get up early, and I got up like around 5 in the morning, and there were some mornings that it hurt so bad I couldn't even get out of bed, but I really, really wanted to perform and compete in this Jackie Chan Disciples. And it was like a 2-month kind of intense training program. Mm-hmm. It was very painful, but it was probably the best 2 months of my life, really.
Well, it seems to have paid off with your character on Chuck.
With the fight scene?
Yes, I loved
Yeah.
that. I particularly loved, well, watching you kick Michael Strahan's butt was
That was
kind of
like
all time.
yeah, that was my favorite scene to shoot by far. I mean, Michael Strahan's a great guy. You know, he just kind of came on set, and even though he didn't know anybody, it just kind of felt like right at home. Like he just made everyone feel like we had known him forever. And we got to do the whole use tripods like a staff.
Uh-huh.
It was awesome. It was great.
Yeah, when we saw Anna coming in the cage with the tripods, we were like, oh, no. This is not going to end well for someone, and I don't think it's Anna.
I was surprised they let me do that. It was just so surprising to me. Like when I read the script, I could not stop grinning. I mean, it was just, I love stuff like that. I love action.
Well, it was such a fantastic scene, and I think the audience responded really well to it. At least they are on our forums. Do you think the writers are going to have Anna do more of that, or explore more of your skills and abilities?
I don't know. I definitely love kicking butt.
Mm-hmm.
Who wouldn't, right?
Right.
But I think that the writers are doing an amazing job. I mean, they really know who these characters are, and they really. I mean, they've got these brilliant creations already, but they're so good at incorporating new ideas and learning about who the actors are. But there's really so much time only, like a limited airtime to showcase everyone's talent. And I think they're doing a pretty freaking damn good job of it.
They are.
I love them.
Yeah. They're just firing on all cylinders this season. Every episode, it's like, oh, this is my favorite one. And then the next week, well, maybe this is my favorite one. It's just, they're knocking it out of the park. All of you guys are. It's been a fantastic season so far.
Yeah, we have such a great group. I mean, it's like working on Chuck was probably, it is my favorite set to have worked on because everyone feels like family. And I think maybe that's because, I'm there a lot more. But we feel safe for sure. The producers, they work so hard, and to take care of us, and the writers, their writing makes performing so much easier because they really know theirs. And all the actors are fun and easygoing. We have no divas on set, and all the crew guys are like they're always on top of things. So it's definitely a set to work on.
That comes across on screen too. You guys everybody just has amazing chemistry, and even you can tell when the guest stars come on, they announce so and so is going to be on. And with other shows, I think people might be like, oh, great guest, stunt casting. But with this show, the announcements of who's going to be a guest stars are met with, oh, that's going to be amazing, because they're just so well incorporated. The casting is amazing.
I think a part of it, though, I think Zach, who plays Chuck, he's a great leader. I mean, like, we're on set, and he, just when he walks in the room, everyone's just so relaxed. And I mean, one time on set, like, one of the extras had a birthday, and Zach was just like, hey, everyone sing happy birthday. Like, the entire cast and crew started singing happy birthday to this extra in the background. And it's we just treat everyone like family, and definitely the chemistry is great.
Mm-hmm.
I think a big part of it too is that the cast, they're all so good. I mean, like when I first had that kissing scene with Josh, and when Morgan and Anna had the first kissing scene, I was actually kind of nervous about it because I didn't really know Joshua Gomez. We'd never hung out before, and I didn't really know who he was, and so I was kind of like afraid that we wouldn't have chemistry. But as soon as the camera started rolling, and it was like we just started playing off of each other, and Josh really has a great way of making people feel comfortable, So it was like right away I felt like he was my best friend, and like I'd known him for ages, and it was awesome.
You guys' relationship, the Morgan and Anna relationship, is a lot of fun to watch because the gender roles for Morgan and Anna are so flipped in that relationship. Bless Morgan's heart, he thinks he's the one wearing the pants, but he's really not.
Yeah, it's a fun role. I think there's a great parallel, with Chuck and Sarah, and then Ellie and Awesome. I think that the girls are the stronger ones, and it's kind of fun in a way. I'm not really like that in real life, like, laying the rules.
Yeah.
So it's fun.
As a female who's watching this series, you're exactly right. It's all three of the women, the main lead female characters on this series, are so strong. in their own ways. It's a lot of fun to watch. I really appreciate that, where it's not just, the women are just eye candy,
Yeah.
I really appreciate the way that the women are portrayed here.
I was really surprised, though, that Anna agreed to wearing the hula skirt.
I know.
I was trying to understand that, but I guess she loves Morgan enough to do it. I don't know.
It was kind of sweet to see her capitulate a little bit like that for him.
Yeah.
There is some compromise in that relationship, and that's nice to see.
Yeah, I think so.
What's coming up for Anna and Morgan?
Anna and Morgan, I think they do love each other. I personally, Julia Ling, think that they are such a freaking cute couple.
They are.
They're so unique, and they're both kind of like the right height for each other. No offense to Josh if he's listening to this. No offense. But, yeah, I think they're cute. But Anna and Morgan, I think you'll see some rocky kind of relationships coming up. I mean, Anna has another boyfriend and everything, but you just kind of have to watch and see.
So rocky times ahead.
Yeah, rocky times ahead.
It should be interesting to see how Morgan deals with that.
Yeah.
Yeah. And your character specifically, with or without Morgan, would she be moving into a little more of her own person? I mean, with season 1, she was kind of there to be Morgan's interest, love interest. But we've seen Anna start becoming more and more of a character in her own right. For example, you're now in the opening credits.
That's exciting.
Congratulations on that. That is exciting. Does that mean you're a series regular now?
Yeah, they actually made the Buy More Gang series regulars this year, which is really exciting because I think there's a lot more that the show could do with, developing the Buy More plots. And for me, that's exciting because I practically live in the Buy More.
Right.
Everyone's talking about like location shoots. Did you go there? And they're like, nope, we shot at the Buy More. But yeah, it's definitely exciting because we have a lot more plot lines, and Jeff and Lester, they're amazing characters as well. They're so funny. We
just this past week had an episode that kind of focused on Jeff, for better or for worse.
Yeah.
So, and I think before that we were seeing Lester struggling with his assistant manager duties.
He was brilliant.
He really was.
Funny.
So it seems that it's time for us to really see more of Anna, besides kicking the jock butt.
I don't know. I would, of course, I have no objections to that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's for me, every script is a surprise. I just always can't wait till that next script is delivered to my door because every time I read it, it's a discovery for me as well. So we're just kind of living on edge, and it's kind of exciting. It's kind of nerve-wracking at the same time, but it's definitely a lot more exciting than it is nerve-wracking. It's I don't know what's in store for Anna. And I'm just kind of, I'm there with the audience.
Yeah, waiting to see.
I don't know what's happening. Exactly, yeah.
Well, I hope we get to see more of Anna just kind of on her own. Not that I want Anna and Morgan to break up, but to see her develop more as a character, because I think there's a lot of interesting things that could happen there. One thing in particular I'm thinking of is when that fight scene that you had, Casey was just clearly impressed with Anna's skills and immediately was on the phone to say, I've got a potential new recruit.
Right. That was very funny. I don't know. I mean, I kind of wonder if Casey was just saying that, or if he was really serious, if it's really going to happen. So I don't know either.
Planted the seed. Yeah. So, yeah. It would be interesting to see if anything comes of that.
It would be really funny if Anna was, in that, or it was even involved in any way at all, even if she wasn't an agent,
mm-hmm.
because I just think there's so much you can do from that. The possibilities are just endless.
They are. Well, last time we spoke, you mentioned that there hadn't been any practical jokes on the set yet, but you thought they might be coming as the cast was getting more and more comfortable with each other. Anything you can share with us on that front?
I haven't seen anything like that. I think everyone's just way too nice to each other.
Oh, now, come on. Step it up, guys.
I mean, yeah, no, I haven't seen anything, and I was looking for it. I mean, when I was on the set of ER, they had so many so many practical jokes there, but on Chuck, not yet. We just kind of, when we cut, we just all kind of get together and sing and dance.
Oh,
That's what we do.
so it turns into
We're
a
like
big
a living musical.
Yeah. Awesome. Well, we've used up more of your time than we originally planned, but it's just so fun to talk to you. There's so much going on in your life and with the show. Just
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, thanks so much for talking to us.
Well, yeah, thanks for supporting the show, and to all the listeners, we love you so much, so much.
Well, thanks. We are so enjoying this season, and we're so glad that NBC already gave it a full pickup. We're just looking forward to seeing what comes next.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Thank you so much.
I really look forward to seeing what's going to happen next.
Thank you.
Thanks. We'll talk to you later.
All right, bye.
Bye.